Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to Record Breakers, a music podcast where a group of friends gather together to share music with each other, an album at a time. It's like a little book club for music. Fun time had by all. I'm Petey Rave, and here with me is my team, my squad, my crew. We've got David.
Buenos tacos, muchachos. Have you ever wondered what could happen under the umbrella tree?
Mm-hmm. And we've got Drew.
A wise man once said that it is tricky to rock a rhyme that's right on time.
Mm-hmm. And a wise woman once said, when life gives you lemons, you make mojitos. But that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about music. We're here to talk about an album. We're here to talk about an album that I've chosen purely out of curiosity. I think I mentioned that in my revised insert last time, it's been a little while, that I was checking out the kind of like newly released, newly kind of like out there fresh metal that's out there, basically like new releases in metal on Spotify. And I saw some curiosities and some things that like piqued my interest, and I wanted to like explore them, just kind of see what they're about. I have a few of them. I have a dock full of a bunch of albums, including those. And when we decided we needed to pivot, I pivoted to this album because it was a very interesting curiosity of a veteran Spanish metal band's latest album. A band that has, barring a 2-year hiatus, been together since 1997, not 1977, 1997, making power metal from Spain, breaking out to Latin America, and they have toured the U.S. We're talking about Tierra Santa and their album Un Viaje Épico. Un Viaje Épico. I'm probably gonna be doing I'll be doing my own version of every American's British joke, but in Spanish, because it's always fun for us Spanish speakers to imitate a Spanish accent.
Oh, okay.
It's like
where you were going with that.
Yeah, it's like the un español, un viaje épico. All right, let's talk about what your thought process is. David, what were your expectations? What were your thought process coming into listening to this album?
Well, I really didn't have any kind of context at all, so I looked them up. I cheated. Mm-hmm. And when I saw that they were a metal band and they'd been around since 1997, I wasn't quite sure what they would sound like. But it was something very different from what I expected. And that's not a terrible thing. Mm-hmm. They definitely have some Iron Maiden and Judas Priest DNA, but they've evolved into something resembling power metal. Mm-hmm. It's very European, like Claudio Castagnoli. Hey. But it's really enjoyable. It's really enjoyable. It's straightforward. It's exactly what it sounds like from beginning to end, but it's solid. It's solid.
Drew, what were your expectations coming into this album? What was your thought process?
Well, there wasn't much for me. Looking at sort of the fans also like, and looking at the album covers was my first hint of, okay, this is going to be metal. What side of metal are we on? And then I looked up the words Tierra Santa, and it's a Spanish term for the Holy Land. And I was like, oh, we're getting that type of metal. Let's fucking go. So.
Mm-hmm.
Hey!
Hey!
Can we chill the hell out?
I mean, we're listening to power metal. It's a little harder to chill
This is
out.
the second podcast this week that has had pet interventions.
Exactly. This album, if we talk about this album musically, if I were to describe it, it's very much metal, power metal sound. It is very much the sound of a veteran metal band just doing their thing. Very driving guitar sounds, very driving drums, very like epic singing, which is fitting. Un viaje épico is Spanish for an epic voyage. And it's fitting. This is in particular it's Spanish from español. So for as a Spanish speaker, it's also kind of as fun as listening to music that where the singer has a very heavy British accent. Just because it's like those little quirks of Castilian Spanish are really fun. But it has solid anthemic vocals. It's definitely built to be anthemic and hook driven. The sing along hooks. I mentioned for those of us who speak Spanish, or honestly, probably a lot of people can sing along to it. Work well. There's very hook centric. This is you can see the Iron Maiden influences, the 80s power metal influences. Like they originally formed this version in '97, but they had been performing together as a different band called Privacy since '91. And you can hear that kind of like leftover sound from the 80s metal and 80s power metal in there. And there's like different songs where you can bring it out of them. It's no surprise that they've participated in 2 Iron Maiden tribute compilations. If you look them up on Wikipedia,
I didn't even know that.
yeah, you can see them on their Wikipedia. It's no surprise. And it's very solidly performed. Very like very solid, straightforward guitar work. Very solid, straightforward like power into the kind of like where the riffing and the medleys are in there as well. And yeah, it is slightly above replacement level power metal. But let's get more into to what you guys think. David, how would you describe this album musically?
I thought we just did that. It has all of the things that you expect from a heavy metal band from a certain time period, like the early to mid 80s. It has all of those things. And it has a production and mix that has missed the down-tuning, extra heavy punch and crunch that eventually came with modern metal. This is still very in that sort of uplifting sort of vibe that power metal became. So you can hear what this band's sound is blending together, and they execute it reasonably well.
Mm-hmm. Drew, how would you describe this album musically?
Well, I wish I understood Spanish because all of this is extremely my shit. It is grandiose, operatic vocals from Angel San Juan. It is like some really, really good, intricate guitar work from both players here. That we have fist pumping choruses, but really, to me, like the details that Angel San Juan, I believe I've got that name right, puts in. One, his vocal in the mix is just perfect on top. There is these really nice, like, sustained vibrato moments within that singing that was really, really great. And it lends to that like big feel, right? It lends to the. I did not look up a music video, but if there is not a music video of this man with his long hair on a mountain with hair blowing in the wind or like a cliff face or something, I don't know what the fuck we're doing here. Like there is inspiration from like a lot of different places in a lot of the different parts, but it all comes back to that like very fist pumping like power metal sort of feel in the undercurrent, and it was super great. I am sure there are some awesome lyrics about the awesome cool visuals and stuff that like I don't speak much Spanish. I know Yo no tengo pantalones, and that's about where I stand on that one. But it was like everything I want in like a power metal record is on display here. Like just in like an amazing way.
Yeah, and as we get into kind of the tracks, we start off with like the opening track, which is Un Viaje Épico, the title track. And it kind of like starts you off pretty much as this is where you're getting. Like here's some just straightforward power metal. And it kicks things off in a nicely epic way. Very, very anthemic, very fun. Very like very, very solid vocals. Angel San Juan, Angel San Juan is a very tight singer. I didn't touch on it, but I think he's a very tight singer. I think if you were to compare him to the kind of the standard where you expect from power metal, he's probably not like in the high list, but he's very solid, and he works well for the music that they put out, that you find here on this album. The guitar work is there. And this song kind of gives you a great like thesis statement on the album. Mañana, tomorrow or morning, is very, very much where you also start to get the throwback feel. This one is where it really starts to feel like 80s power metal. And it is pretty solid at that. I mainly want to shout out Excalibur, because we love Excalibur, the man in the mask. Icaro, or Icarus, obviously, has some bitchin' medleys as well as like as well as the follow up to the following song. It has some great guitar solos, pretty fantastic. And then Abre tu corazón, open up your heart, has some pretty fun throwback synths. You start to get like very 80s power metal synths in this one. And in kind of like in this ballady feeling, though it's not quite the ballad like the closer of the album, which I think it would be one of the few tracks where I was like, not as inspired by. But yeah, David, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
Okay, I will say track 5, Icaro. I absolutely loved the intro to this. The uplifting dual guitar harmonies, just beautiful. Track 7, I can't say that one. And track 9, I wrote here. The intro and this song reminded me of a band that is more of the AOR style. And it reminded me of a band that I listened to called Work of Art from Sweden. Those keyboards and those particular melodies are a very specific type of rock music. That's very specific to Europe, and that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. I believe it's solo hay un camino en abre tu corazón.
Thank you, Petey.
I'm trying to do it very like Spanish. Drew, what would be your key tracks from this album?
I'm gonna kill these animals. Un Viaje Épico.
Endgame.
Hell of an opening. Everything I said about why I like them is gold. Everything I said in the opener is on display here. There is that, like, at 1:30, like, again, it's one of those just like driving down the road, like pumping your fist out of the car, like swinging a sword around your head, sort of like grandiose ridiculousnesses. Again, my Spanish is bad. I'm fair. But El Regreso de un Hero.
El regreso
What
de un héroe.
Ramones? Huh?
Oh, and El regreso de un héroe. The return of the hero.
Why doesn't it sound like you're lisping through some of that?
Because I'm doing Espanol. I'm doing Castilian Spanish. I'm doing
But my point being, the rhythmic verses, they go back into crazy, like, great metal solos, but there is some Ramones ass inspiration on this song. Like, it is motorcycles and leather jackets and like that intersection where like that era of like early 80s punk rock and metal sort of met up. And you're gonna have to help me again. Second to the last track on this one, Abre tu Corazón.
Yeah, Abre tu Corazón. Abre tu Corazón.
That one.
Yeah.
That one was the most 80s song out of this entire album for me. I think it was the synth pattern. Like, there was some 80s metal like oozing out of that track hardcore, and it was great. I was super on board.
Yeah, let's bring it back around the horn and talk about some conclusive thoughts. David, how would you conclude on this album as a whole?
In some ways, this band reminded me of a band that I've brought on the podcast before. And the band is Love Bites. I feel like those two bands going on a tour together would be very, very compatible. There's some similarities there. I think if you like Love Bites, you can check out this band. I think that this is, as I said earlier, very European metal. And there are certain stylistic sensibilities that bands from that part of the world have that are very specific in terms of stylistics and songwriting and composition. And it is very much like that. It is classic heavy metal, almost to a fault. Almost. Because it doesn't really get boring. And for me, it didn't overstay its welcome. So overall, I had a pretty good time with it.
All right, we'll go to Drew before the acid reflux kills David. Drew, what would be your conclusion on this album as a whole?
Everything said herein is 100% true, and it's awesome, and it's so much fun. If bands like Camelot are your vibe, or even bands like, I would, to a lesser extent, Iron Maiden, like anything like that, if you enjoy yourself both heavy metal and Dungeons and Dragons, I think this fits the vibe heavy, and I enjoyed both of those things from time to time, so I enjoyed the vibe.
Yes. Yeah, I think this is if I were to conclude on this, my conclusion is that this is really solid, really fun power metal. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't get boring. The vocals are really solid. And the musicianship is really fun. And like has been said, if you like power metal and you like epic adventures or an epic voyage, if you are going on an epic voyage, you can enjoy this album. Not to be confused with a fantastic voyage, because then you would go to a different style of music. This is solid. It's fun to listen to, and I'm glad I was able to kind of like discover this band that has been doing this for so long and see some solid work from them. And it was enjoyable. Let's get to the main event of the evening, the moment we've all been waiting for. Our haiku reviews. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Haiku numero uno. David, what is your haiku?
A last-minute change. Melodic classic metal. Solid. Good enough.
Drew, what is your haiku?
Sweeping grain guitar and the powerful lead voice. Overall, good time.
My haiku. Metal español tiene buena calidad y da orgullo. There you go. And those are our thoughts on Tierra Santa's Un Viaje Épico. You can find it on our Spotify playlist, Play Record Breakers, the home game, do your due diligence and your due diligence. And also our YouTube playlist, where you can follow along with the episodes and listen to the album kind of just all together, just all flowing together. On those playlists will be next week's record, and it's going to be provided by David. David, what have you got for us?
There's been one particular style of music that I haven't really been able to get out of my head for several years now. And I've been trying to get this particular artist on the podcast, but I could just never find the right time. But I'm talking about the artist that I found on TikTok by the name of Sunglasses Kid. And I will be bringing on his album, Internal Affairs.
So look forward to that. But that'll be next week, and this is this week. And you can, of course, find us all over the internet. Rebelli.net for the show, or recordbreakerscast.com. Our website name has been going different places because recordbreakers.fun was going to be like $50 to renew. So I was like, yeah, no.
Not in this economy.
Fuck that. So it's recordbreakerscast.com, sends you to the main page, or rebelli.net. Rebelli TV on YouTube and on Twitch. Find us all over there. Check out all the things. Find us where you find podcasts, Spotify, YouTube podcasts, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else, or you can get the feed on our website. Like, share, subscribe, come join us live for this and all of our other shows and streams at Rebelli TV. Until next time, hasta los huevos.
Toodaloo.
Yeah. And young, fighting, crying nut. Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.